Hey, shalom, brothers and sisters. Today I want to bring up and talk about the Dead Sea Scrolls. Talk about them as an extraordinary find in the 20th century. Probably the greatest biblical find ever so far. But just want to read a little article about it in case you don't know what they are. I'm sure you do, but just wanted to go over them with you. It says here the Dead Sea Scrolls are considered one of the greatest archaeological finds in modern history, discovered between 1946 and 1956 by Bedouins and archaeologists. The site known as Wadi Qumran has been a series of 11 caves about a mile inland from the northwestern shore of the Dead Sea, the lowest elevation on Earth's surface. The arid environment helped preserve the scrolls. A total of 972 manuscripts were found at Qumran in the veritable library that included writings and fragments of older scrolls and texts dating back to roughly 250 BCE. The texts are written in ancient Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek, mostly on parchment, but with some on papyrus and bronze. They include the earliest known surviving manuscripts of the Hebrew Bible canon, as well as the apocryphal works, prayers, legal texts, sectarian documents. Every book of the Hebrew Bible except Esther were found in the scrolls. There are 225 biblical texts included in the Dead Sea Scroll documents, or about 22% of the total. A majority of scholarship believe that the scrolls were written by a group called the Essenes, or by another group of Jewish sectarians. They ultimately hid them in the nearby caves during the Jewish revolt between 66 CE and 68 CE. Now, the Essenes was a third group of the Jewish nation. You had the Pharisees, you had the Sadducees, and you had the Essenes. With the Essenes, they didn't really want power or nothing. They kind of divorced themselves from Jerusalem and went out in the wilderness by the Dead Sea and communed with each other because they thought the other groups were not following Torah. And in a way, the Pharisees weren't following Torah. They had the Talmud there, the man's tradition. It was, plain and simple traditions of man, and they thought about, riches, and they thought about self-image and things like that. And also, just a side note on that, about the same time the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered, also the damnable heresy books of the Nag Hammadi was found too, and them are preserved in the libraries just like the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Dead Sea Scrolls have been studied by scholars and linguistics experts ever since they've been discovered, and quite recently some fragments were discovered just probably about a year ago or so, a couple of years ago. More fragments were discovered, and that's just an overwhelming find, and we don't know what else finds that are going to be right around the area in the future. There might be more scrolls, there might be more, about legal texts or like a history or something like that, or treasures. There could be some treasures down there, but it's just kind of amazing, fascinating. Like I said in my other programs, like biblical archaeology, and keep up on the best that I can. And you have any free time, just watch a video about them, look them up online, read about them, and they actually sell some of the books, in your language, English or Spanish or whatever, and just if they're cheap enough, go ahead and buy them and look them up and see what they have to say. They're part of history and they're important. That's all I wanted to say about them, and thank you again for stopping by, and hopefully I'll have more episodes with more archaeological discoveries that the media around here never talks about or anything. Of course, we've discussed why, but anyways, with that said and done, just wanted to thank you again, and please knock the heck out of that like button and notification bell and subscribe, and please feel free to comment below, And with that said and done, thank you again, and shalom and peace out.